Anjali, please. May I request Santani to welcome our guest Professor Chan by placing the bouquet. Now, Amrita will give bouquet to Professor Rai. Santani will give bouquet to Professor Sarkar. A few months ago, our institute, with the active encouragement of our director, Professor Ray, decided to designate the institute lectures in the name of some visionaries of modern India, namely Acharya Jagadish Chandra Bose Memorial Oration for Physical Sciences, Acharya Prafullo Chandra Ray Memorial Oration for Chemical Sciences, Dr. Visvesvaraya Memorial Oration for Engineering, and Swami Vivekananda Memorial Oration for Religion. Today we have the first Acharya Prafullo Chandra Ray Memorial Oration, and we are fortunate to have amongst us a very distinguished chemist, Professor Sania Chen, for delivering this lecture. Acharya P.C. Ray was not only a great chemist, a social worker, an entrepreneur of chemical technology, but he was, in a true sense, the doyen of modern scientific research in India. The institute is privileged to dedicate the Institute Oration in Chemical Sciences to his name. Now I request Director Professor A.K. Ray to deliver the welcome address.
Our very distinguished guest and the scientist of eminence, Professor Sani Chan, who has contributed during the last almost more than 5 decades, our distinguished professor, my colleagues from chemistry department and also from other departments of this institution, and my very dear young student friends. We are indeed very happy that today we have, on the occasion of Acharya Prafullo Chandra Ray Memorial Oration, we have Professor Sani Chan, who is a fellow of National Science Foundation, is a postdoctoral fellow during 1960 to 61 from Harvard University. Oh. So so we are indeed very happy that he is there with us to deliver this lecture today. Acharya Prafullo Chandra Ray, as all of you know, he was born in 1861. He was 3 years junior to Acharya Jagadish Chandra Bose, and he was born in the same year as Gurudev Rabindranath Tagore. Now this was the time from 1858, 57, 58 to about 1866, 67. This 10 years had witnessed the birth of several persons in India who had truly changed the face of India in the international level. Acharya Prafullo Chandra Ray, as you all know, that during his student days, he used to constantly fight different types of ailments, and especially stomach-related ailments. So from Khulna, when he came to Calcutta, he had to go back to his own village at least 2 times because of severe ailment due to dysentery and amoebiasis, which was so prevalent those days in Calcutta. Nevertheless, he went to England, had his BSc, Doctor of Science in Chemistry, and immediately after coming back from England, he joined Presidency College, the then Presidency College, one of the foremost colleges in India, and a college which has produced possibly a large number of people who later on went on to become some of the doyens of science, technology, and art throughout the globe. Acharya Prafullo Chandra Rai, during the entire period of his teachership as a teacher, he used to demonstrate the experiments in the classroom. And as a matter of fact, his teaching was so popular that those days, even from other colleges, people and the young students used to come to attend his classes. Not only that, he used to teach in the class theory, but then he will demonstrate each one of the experiments inside the laboratory, inside the classroom itself. And that was a great thing. His work on which he received Nobel Prize, maybe that much more than for which he received his BSc, maybe that much more than his contribution in that field of research, he had contributed more significantly as a teacher. It is very interesting to know that even Bhatnagar, one of the greatest chemists that this country has ever produced, he had once lamented that I am not a direct disciple of Acharya Prafullo Chandra Roy, but then my teacher was a direct disciple of Prafullo Chandra Roy. So that way I am 2 generations below, and I feel myself fortunate that he is like my grandfather and he taught my own teacher. Acharya Prafullo Chandra Rai, he was all along a bachelor and used to devote all the time in teaching and research, and not that alone. The most important thing is way back in 1893, he conceived of starting the industries, and basically he always felt that without industrialization, this country, which was under the British rule, cannot prosper. Manijye Bashoti Lokhi. This was one of the famous quotes that he always used to tell. And he used to inspire the young people that you start your own business or your own industries. In 1893, he had conceived of starting the Bengal Chemicals, and as you all know that although that was the initial time, and for any such great venture, and imagine in 1890s, what was there in Calcutta those days? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. But on one hand, Acharya Jagadish Chandra Bose, he was busy in developing the first electromagnetic wave in millimetric range, that is the microwave, and his colleague Acharya Prafullo Chandra Rai, sitting almost in the next room, he was busy in developing the different type of chemicals which would be needed in the industrial grade, which will be needed for the dependent India those days. It was very interesting that before the First World War, his first basic efforts in having the large number of sulfuric acid generation, preparation, so from his factory, that is from Bengal Chemicals, which actually came up somewhere in the early part of 20th century, that is around say 1901 or 2. Although the conception was from 1893, but there were some initial difficulties and all. Finally, around early 20th century, 1902 or 1903, the Bengal Chemical came into full bloom. And you will be surprised to know that a lot of later generation chemists, not only chemists, Parashuram, you have heard of him, a great Bengali, writer. Even Parashuram was the chief chemist in Bengal Chemical. And he was first in chemistry those days. And so Acharya Dev, he had a large number of students, not only from chemistry, but also people like Meghnad Shaha, Professor Satyen Bose, they used to revere him as their sort of, godfather. After getting the Nobel Prize here, C.V. Raman, he had recounted that the person, the scientist from whom he had got maximum support in Calcutta was none other than Acharya Prafullo Chandra Ray. So he will be a model teacher, and by remembering him, we who are in the teaching profession, we should always remember the true model of a teacher. He used to devote 24 hours was for the students. 24 hours. He used to lead a very frugal life, absolutely very simple life, and whatever he used to earn those days, the whole thing he had donated for the cause of the science, for the cause of the university, Calcutta University. And those days, as you know, that Calcutta University and also subsequently Dhaka University became major centers of learning in science and literature. So Acharya Prafullo Chandra Ray, he was also instrumental in developing the national education movement, which ultimately, culminated in the starting of Jadavpur University, and it was, the National Council of Education. He was associated with that right from the beginning. He was a great admirer of Gurudev Rabindranath Tagore, and Gurudev Rabindranath Tagore, he died in 1941, and Acharya Prafullo Chandra Ray, although they were born in the same year, but Acharya Ray, he breathed his last in 1944. So he was alive in spite of his lot of, ailments in the, stomach, dysentery and amoebiasis and all, from which he suffered all through his life. But he was very careful about his health, and he was very careful about spending money. So whatever he used to earn, he used to spend it only for the cause of science and for the cause of his students. Innumerable number of students he had helped, and he will forever be remembered by thousands of students that he has produced throughout his life. And you should remember one thing, that is by the 1940s, that is the starting of the Second World War, it was because of these two giants in physics and chemistry. One is Acharya Jagadish Chandra Bose and the other one is Acharya Prafullo Chandra Ray. By 1940s, we really truly could have two very important schools of physics and chemistry. And this, in my opinion,